Welcome to Design Deep Dive. I'm Travis, and in this video I'll be discussing side decks, Magic the Gathering sideboard, Dragon Ball Z CCG's Sensei deck, and Raw Deal's Backlash deck. Magic the Gathering decks could have a 15-card side deck called the sideboard. In best of 3 competitive matches, you could swap cards from your sideboard with cards from your main deck between games, so that it's better suited to go up against your opponent. The Dragon Ball Z CCG's 7th set introduced Sensei cards. You could only have one Sensei card in your deck, and it was separate from your main deck. Sensei cards provided an ability that could be used during the game, and determined the number of cards you could have in your Sensei deck. Actually using cards from the Sensei deck was much worse than the sideboard. The Sensei deck can only contain cards that say Sensei deck or Sensei deck only. Players were encouraged to use these cards, as Sensei deck only cards were more powerful on average than cards that could be included in the main deck. Several cards that would become staple cards were also Sensei deck only. DBZ matches were only a single game, so cards were swapped with only a vague idea of your opponent's deck. When adding cards from the Sensei deck at the start of the game, you must reveal those cards to your opponent and then randomly remove the same number of cards from your deck before shuffling the Sensei deck cards in. This could remove a Dragon Ball from your deck, making you unable to win by Dragon Ball victory. 4 sets later, an incredibly rare Piccolo Sensei card was made that had the ability to allow you to choose which cards were removed. While the Sensei deck poorly replicated Magic the Gathering's sideboard, the side deck in Raw Deal was something else entirely. The Backlash deck was introduced in Raw Deal's 3rd set, also named Backlash. The Backlash deck can only consist of horizontally aligned pre-match and mid-match cards. While you are allowed to have 10 pre-match cards and 10 mid-match cards in your Backlash deck, you will only be able to play 5 of each during any game. Mid-match cards are maneuvers, actions, and reversals like the cards in the main deck, but you can play your mid-match cards at any point during the game. This makes Backlash deck cards far more reliable than the cards that must be drawn from the main deck. Some cards are answers to specific problems, such as the card titled Backlash, providing a backup reversal to avoid your opponent having a runaway turn. Other mid-match cards provide reliable utility or powerful late-game effects. The other half of your Backlash deck are pre-match cards, representing things that happen before the match begins. In early sets, pre-match cards were built for more general utility. Raw Deal didn't have a way to mulligan a starting hand you did not like, but Awesome Pyro existed to allow you to redraw your starting hand. As the game progressed, more and more pre-match cards were created that encouraged building a deck around their advantages. It's Hard Beans Original allows you to add 2 cards of your choice to your starting hand, but you cannot play a card with the same name as a card you have already played. Decks utilizing this card would contain only 1 copy of many different cards, so they would not need to worry about that detriment. While the Sensei card itself provides interesting space for deck customization in the trade-off between the Sensei's ability and the deck size, using cards from the deck is cumbersome, risky, and required in order to use a number of important cards. Raw Deal's Backlash deck revolutionized the game's strategic choices and added consistency to your deck. If you're looking to add interesting player asymmetry, consider implementing something like Backlash deck to your game. It does not require that any element of your game be customizable to benefit from selecting some starting bonuses from a limited menu and having reliable mid-game effects. Our next Design Deep Dive topic will be on deck building. Thank you.